more about survival and what may have caused a lot of the deaths there. Jarrett Barrios, the Chief Executive Officer for the American Red Cross here in Los Angeles in this region. He is live with us now here in Los Angeles. We're in an earthquake-prone area.
Yes.
Millions of people live in an earthquake-prone area. I do want to ask you about the buildings. How much do the buildings, coupled with a large quake, how much do they play a role in the death toll that happens?
That's you're just cutting straight to the chase. It is so with the earthquake 6.2, which isn't as large as many which we have seen here in California and on the West Coast in the United States, but because it was a shallow quake, that is, the energy was concentrated near the surface, the shaking was greater, and the shaking is what causes the damage to the buildings. Hence the pancaking or the collapsing of the buildings. If you could imagine, the cement that's holding that stuff together basically turns into sand because it's rubbing and then it just falls down. We have a lot of old buildings, San Francisco, Los Angeles, buildings which were built, even though they're maybe 400 years newer,
right,
than
much
the buildings,
more modern.
they were built before the earthquake codes. And so we are looking at this very seriously. Yes, we want people to be trained on what to do, drop, cover, hold on, but it's a question of building codes as well for commercial buildings, and it's a question for homeowners about what you've done to retrofit your house to make sure it's not going to collapse.
I wanted to ask you about that because retrofitting can be extremely expensive. And in some of these places, in Italy there, you're talking about almost, I don't know how you would retrofit a 400-year-old building made of stone. I mean, how do you do that? Or what are some things you can tell people that they can do?
Well, fortunately, the high-priced engineers are typically for the commercial buildings.
Right.
Homeowners can typically retrofit a house in California for anywhere between $4,000 and $7,000. And the California Earthquake Authority will pay up to $3,000 to help cover those costs. So we've done stuff in California to make it easier. Unfortunately, very few people take advantage of it. I really hope that people are watching what's happening in Italy and California here and start to retrofit their homes. Particularly if your home is older, was built before the mid-1950s, you need to take a look at that.
The Bolt and Brace program, I think, was one of the ones that they
Absolutely.
just recently
and you can get up to $3,000 to cover it. So really it makes it much more affordable, and it's your family's lives at stake.
You talked about what to do in case of an earthquake. It's worth repeating. What do you tell people, the thing that you're supposed to do as soon as you feel the shaking?
So you got to drop, cover, hold on, get yourself under a desk, under a table or something. Don't try to run outside. Don't stand in a doorway. Don't do this triangle of life thing, which used to be what they teach. Get under something because stuff's going to fall. If it's the middle of the night and you're sleeping, put a pillow over your head. Make sure that there's no pictures on the walls above you that could fall on you. Make sure you have a pair of shoes next to the bed. The greatest injuries that happened in the last big quake we had here in LA were people running out of their rooms, stepping on broken glass.
Oh, cutting their feet.
Cutting their feet. So have a pair of
immobile.
shoes. Exactly. But it's also important to get prepared beforehand. You have to plan as if you're not going to be able to have police, fire, Red Cross support for up to 5 days. Because in LA, we're 10 million people in LA County. 10 million people call 911 at the same time. Nobody's coming.
Doesn't work, right?
So you have to be prepared to take care of yourself and your family. Water, food, flashlights. You also need to know how to turn the gas off in the water. Our Northridge quake that we had here in 1994, 50% of the damage was from fires that were caused by gas leaks after the earthquake, because people didn't know how to turn their gas off. It's relatively simple. You just need a wrench. Right. But people didn't know their house well enough to know what to do.
Jarrett Barrios, thank you so much for coming and imparting that important information to anyone who lives in an earthquake-prone area. We appreciate it.